4 of your final review packet. And we're starting with question 36 here. It says, which of the following is true? It says all triangles are congruent. No, they're not, because they're scalene, obtuse, right, all those kind of things. So we're going to say all congruent figures have 3 sides. That's not true, because we have triangles, we have quadrilaterals, we have octagons. So that won't work. And then part C, or question or answer C, if two figures are congruent, there must be some sequence of rigid motions that maps one onto the other. Rigid motions meaning we're translating, rotating, reflecting, whatever it may be. And that one could be a possibility, but let's make sure and look and see what question or D has to say. It says, if 2 triangles are congruent, then they must be right triangles. Means if they're congruent, they only can be right triangles, which is not true, because again goes back, we have scalene, we have right, we have obtuse, we have acute, we have equilateral, we have isosceles. So those can also be congruent too. So C is our answer, because we can take one figure and map it onto and fold it in half, and it matches itself onto itself. Then it's all good. Okay. All right. Question number 37 states, and we have a figure here, and my shadow that's coming in through my thing here is getting a little off here. It says, in the diagram below, reflect ABC across AB. So AB is right here, so I'm going to draw a line straight through AB. So that means we need to draw and reflect. That means A and B, if we reflect it over here, is going to stay the same, because it's right on the thing. The only thing that needs to change is C, and C needs to be perpendicular. So I'm going to sit there and say, I'm going to put C here. We're going to go perpendicular along that line there, and I'm just going to kind of draw a dashed line. Okay, a dashed line going this way as well. Okay, so now the only thing we need to know is the distance from where we're reflecting off to here, and we can sit there and go, okay, I'll just do a little marking here on my little card here, and I'm going to put it here where C prime would notice here. Now, we've seen this problem similar to this one before, where we needed to find out some rules here. It says that AB AB is congruent to, so where's AB at? AB is congruent to AC over here. And we know that that's not the case, because we're not using the same 2 points, and that would, if that was B over here, then that would work, but it's not. Okay, so we know that one's not the answer. It says that angle AC and B is congruent to, so we're talking about this angle here, is congruent to CA. So C prime here. So we're talking about, if I were to draw a line this way, they would say these 2 angles are congruent. I don't think that's going to be the case either. Okay. Now, next one shows that angle C is congruent to angle C prime. If I were to connect and reflect the whole reflection of the whole triangle here, we could sit there and say that C and C prime are going to be congruent, and that is our answer there. Okay. We can't say that it's equilateral, because we don't know the measurements of all the sides, and it didn't say it originally either. Okay, so that's the answer to 37. Okay, number 38. As we look again here, and this one is easier one to talk about, because I know that we really didn't get into chapter 4 that much, but this is a simple scenario. Okay, as you can see, we have 2 different types of triangles that are congruent to each other, and they're labeled in a certain order. That means that angle or vertex C or angle C is congruent to the first letter that's in the second statement there. So that means C is congruent to Q. So we go back down here and we look, okay, C and Q, C and Q, C and P, so we know that doesn't work. C and R does not work. Okay, now we go to the next one, which is E. E matches with R. Okay, here we go, E, R, E, P. We know that C and D are not answers, so we can eliminate that one because we know that's true. So then our answer is that. Let's just double check. D matches with P. D and P. Perfect. Okay, so going down to question number 39, it's fairly similar to exactly what we were just doing above there, okay? Where again, we're going to do some matching. A matches is going to match with what? So A's down here, and A, now what we want to do is we want to make sure with these markings that we have here that BC and CD match because they are equal to each other. That means that AB matches with DE, and then CA matches with CE. So again, it's important. If I start with A, A's here, and we want to sit there and go, okay, they want to go to B, so they go B here. So A matches with, and it looks like we're going to go E here, and we're talking about the double line here, so we're going to go along the double line, and it's going to match with what? So we're going to go E, okay, and then we got D, we just sit there and match with B, and then C matches with C, so EDC. Where is EDC at? Answer is B. Okay. All right, number 40. See, we're moving quickly on these ones. These are fairly nice to do. Now we're going to talk about how these match and how they are congruent based on this. In the figure, H is congruent to L. H and L are congruent. Okay. And then HJ, which is right here, is congruent to JL, which is here. So we only need one more item. As you can see, we have angle, side, side, side angle, side, and side angle, side. Depending on what's going on here, again, order matters when it comes to talking about these kind of things. So we have one thing that we can identify, and I'm going to tell you right now, these two angles are going to be equal to each other because of which property? Vertical angles. It's one of our favorite ones that we always use. So if we go clockwise, or even if we go counterclockwise as we go around, it's just going to be, so I'm going to go this way. So it's going to go angle, side, angle. So as we go in a circle, again, angle, side, angle. So which one has angle, side, angle on it? And the answer is A. But let's double check it. So H matches with L. That means J, because these are two equal to, is going to match with J. That means I has to match with K. So we got it all matched there. Perfect. All right. We're going to keep going on this because we're going fairly quick, and we might be able to get through these ones in one little video excerpt. Okay. Okay. Same thing here. We have two angles marked. This one is congruent to this one. This one is congruent to this one. Now, when we have two triangles that are smushed together and they share a common side, we can automatically say that this line is going to be congruent to itself, which is called the reflexive property. Okay, with that being said, then we have what? If we go again counterclockwise or clockwise, we would sit there and go angle, angle, side. So is there an angle, angle, side? Yes, there is, and the answer is here. Okay, so we have, because we have two angles and a side. So which one has two angles inside? It could have been this one, but the side has to be between the two angles, but the angles have to be consecutive in a row. Does that make sense? All right, moving on to 42. Flying right along here. Okay, 42. Same scenario again. We have a lot of things that we can do here. It says what we have, C matches with C. So here we go. So when we have C matches C, we can automatically say, again, by what property that we can say that these two angles, so angle C is congruent to angle C based on what again? Vertical angles. So again, going clockwise or counterclockwise, we'd sit there and start at one of them. We go side, angle, side. We can go this way, side, angle, side. Whatever was this, so we have this one, side, angle, side, and therefore our answer is going to be B. All right, question number 43. Same scenario. Again, angle GEA, GAE is congruent to this one, and then we also have AE is congruent to this. So it tells us that chances are these sides are going to be congruent to each other as well. Okay. And that means we can sit there and say we can prove, if needed, that angle is by what? Side, angle, side. Or we could sit there and say that these ones are going to be congruent to this one. So which one is going to match? It's either GE is congruent to LD or AG is congruent to LO. Okay, and I can see it right now because it says side angle side. We have one angle, we have one side, and it says we need to have how many sides? We need to have two of them. We only need one angle. So angle ones don't work, and we see that AG is right here and OL is here, and we can go clockwise or counterclockwise, and it'll tell us that we got side, angle, side, side, angle, side. Okay. All right. Question number 44. We're flying. Okay. Which of the ones has to do with an angle, angle, side? Okay. Again, key is going clockwise or counterclockwise, and we need to have two angles and one side. Okay. This one, A, has two sides and angles, so we know that one's not it. Okay. This one has angle, angle, and an angle. So it has three angles with no sides showing, so we know B's not it. Okay. Looking at C, we have a side and an angle, and an angle and a side and an angle. So we have two angles and a side. Okay. So that one's okay. So let's keep that one in mind. And this one also has two angles and a side. So it could be either one. So now if we use the rule that I talked about going clockwise or counterclockwise, if I would start at this angle here and I would go counterclockwise, I would go angle, side, angle. So this one would be angle, side, angle. If I were to do this one, starting at this one, it would go angle, angle, side. So we're rotating this way. And this one is angle, angle, side. So we want to match this one. So the answer would be D. All right. Moving on. 45 and 46. We're doing a proof here. Same scenario that we're working on. I can see something already, but we want to talk about our given information here first. Q is a midpoint, which is right here. That means that these two are cut in half and that these will be equal to each other. Okay? It also says that MQP, MQP, and NQP are going to be congruent. So I'm going to use a different colored pen and saying that this angle is congruent to that angle. Now, because we have, again, two squished triangles together, we can sit there and say that this thing right here is equal to each other because of the reflexive property, and they have it already written down here, and they already show it. QP is congruent to QP. So what we want to do is we have the definition of a midpoint that we need to fill in the blank for number 45, and then we'll do the same thing for number 46. Okay? So with that being said, 45, definition of a midpoint. So let's look down here. Where does it show that MQ is congruent to QN or vice versa? And we have it right here. So our answer for this one is going to be that one because that is what matches those two parts right there. And then finding the answer to number 46 here would tell us to do what? Triangle MPQ, based on what thing did we have here? Again, going clockwise or counterclockwise. Starting at one thing, we go here. So we go side, angle, side. So where does it say side, angle, side? And the answer in this one would be C. Okay? Alrighty. We're going to stop there on this one. We thought we were going to get through all the way to 50, but we're not going to. So we'll go ahead and finish up at this point, and I'll see you in a few.